then I will go ahead and shoot again. It's reeling, right?
Yes.
Alright, I got 3 5s. That's at least 5 damage, and then you said it's hurt and injured, so we're at 7.
Alright.
Actually, I assume it's dodging there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's not a simultaneous hit. And my weapon's out of ammo now. So, let's see
It
how this
soaks
does.
4 of it.
Bringing it down
So
to
it's
3.
still injured.
Nice. Alright, well, I've tried my best.
Okay. So I'm just taking a moment to consider here. Alright. It is going to recover from reeling, and then it's going to do its equivalency of a run, which is more like bounding off of its own spinal column and then flicking its arms back as it just bounds downhill, as it were, down the slope of the tube to
It
bound
does the
away from you.
butterfly downstairs.
No, I mean, that's what it's doing. Are you going to give chase, or are you going to let it bound away?
You know, if it's not so interested in hugging us to death, I'm convinced to let it go.
Or I
Yes.
should rather say you have the distance before it rounds a corner, not a corner, a bend or anything before it gets out of distance. Are you going to keep firing after it, or are you going to chase it down? Or I'm asking what your plan is here. Is combat going to continue as you keep going for it, or not?
Right, my vote is to carry on.
We've got this.
Now you want to chase it down?
Oh, I don't want to go after it.
Oh, well, that was the question.
Is it out of line of sight already?
No, that's what I'm asking. Are you going to continue the combat, or are you just going to let it escape?
Oh, well, let's keep pounding on the fire. It's still in range.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to stop shooting it.
Okay.
Alright, well, it's y'all's turn. Like I said, it ran.
Oh, well, I guess, yeah,
Ooh.
let's see the fire.
I might have actually hit it.
Alright, well, it's going to get a D8 bonus for range.
That's a miss.
You only have one ray gun left?
Yeah, I only have, and the other one's still overheated.
Okay.
All right, I'll try another aim and fire.
Alright, same as before, it'll have a D8 bonus, although you have rolled an 8, so...
And I've also finished off my hypergolic pistol. I am no longer on.
Alright, but you hit it this time. Let's see, Scorch 2, damage plus 1, be 4. It is already hurt and injured, so we're at 6. It soaks 2. Alright, your hypergolic pistol strikes it in the back between the shoulder blades as it's bounding away, and it just collapses forwards, face down into the metallic tunnel around it, and seems to stop moving completely.
Huh. Alright. Joel's gonna take half a second to just sort of finish reloading as he sees the thing collapse. Put the gun back to his back and kind of go check it out.
And meanwhile, Yvonne Tanner is looking at her gun and cursing softly.
So now that it's not
softly at her
moving,
gun.
We didn't overkill it, did we?
No, apparently.
Alright, so there's something
Not
to
by
look
all
at.
appearances, no.
That's a little weird. It's also a humanoid robot, which usually implies it has human interface capabilities. Unfortunately, we did just blow the crap out of it.
so I want to actually look at it for markings like the Solar Creed crest that I have on me.
Give me a mind and observation. I guess anybody who's doing this.
I'll come by to check it out because
Yeah.
we
You
might.
guys will probably be exponentially better at this than I will be.
I'm annoyed that it didn't try to communicate with us, even though it had a working cybernetic brain.
I think
Okay.
you put the wrong thing in there, Raph.
Yeah, I had. There we go, but only one success. So.
All right, you and Yavanta both have one success showing, unless you want to.
Yeah, but I was assisting Griffin because they timed in first, so it's a bonus D12 for Griffin.
Ah, okay. So Griff, roll another D12 or
I should
Jewel.
be assisting whenever possible. I'm a team.
And I guess Yavanta is giving me the D8, so I'll roll that too.
Yeah, so we start taking the thing apart, looking for insignia and crap.
Comes up to 2.
Alright, with one success, you would notice that it has no visible or... Really, it doesn't have any organics left on it if it was, in fact, a cybernetic creature of any type.
Mm-hmm.
With 2 successes, there are markings on it. Like, I don't know if they would do this in the far future, but like acid-type etchings of... like, I guess like creator marks is what I'm shooting for here.
Well, there definitely be serial numbers to mark when it came off the line and dating it, so you could know when it needs to be PM'd, what model number it was.
The parts, yeah, but if they are, they're not done in such a way as that you would recognize them. I understand that you're an engineer and you should recognize such things, but these markings seem alien in nature. They're not like the numerical system you're used to seeing if they are numbers.
Yeah.
They're just so different as to be unrecognizable if that's what you even think that they are.
Right. Like if I eyeballed a QR code, I would know it was a QR code. I just wouldn't be able to read it.
Right, but if you were like if you were from the 1700s, a QR code would just be... I might recognize this is something. This means something, but I have no idea what it is.
Would
I
we
agree.
recognize it as being the alien language of the Solar Creed?
I would recognize it as being some sort of intelligent design, and since it's on the inside, I'm guessing it's not cosmetic, so it's some sort of symbology.
Right. But I'm saying it's impossible to know what it is based on you.
Right. I would have to become a linguist and try to decrypt it, which I'm not. I'm an engineer.
Fair. I'm sorry, what was your question, Griff?
Would we be able to recognize it as the alien language of the Solar Creed?
Who successfully did that before? Who made that roll in the past? That was Yavanta, right?
Yes.
I guess if you vocalize this, Yavanta can take a look at it and determine that doesn't match anything that you are aware of.
Okay.
Say so.
So, strange alien language, half of a robot, a lot of dead Solar Creed, and it didn't bother with me.
It pointedly moved past you.
Even as I shot in the head, so
Yeah.
maybe it was a better sport than I imagined.
Stared at you too as it was going by.
Little creepy. Oh, I guess that's just one more piece of junk for the corridor.
Jewel, would you happen to have any other weapons?
I will go ahead and quickly show off what I have, which is an auto carbine that I stole from the keepers, a laser torch, holdout shotgun, a ray gun pistol, and a holdout pistol.
Which one of those would you be willing to part with temporarily until I fix this? And she'll show her hypergolic pistol.
I'll go ahead and toss you over the ray gun.
Thank you.
I'll just go ahead and drop that in the chat. Though, given our performance, maybe it's not all that good. At least not if we're going to shoot robots with it. Something, though. I'm a little worried if more of these things pop up. But I guess we gotta keep going up. I'm following that feeling.
The passage, I'm assuming you guys keep moving forwards. The passage keeps rounding around, and the angle becomes so steep it's starting to reach a 45-degree pitch. Now, I know one of you has no problem with that. Two of you, in fact, now that I think about it.
Hello. So what would you have me do here? Would this be, say, just athletics to kind of keep going, or is it like I'm going to have to actually climb?
Well,
Do I
I
feel like
think
I have to go like vertically up this chute now,
I think
or
the skill of athletics would be your ability to climb, would it not?
let's go ahead and check it out then. I got a D4 in athletics and a D6 in body.
Alright, give me a roll. Let's see how well you do.
1D4. I think that's just from Legacy, yeah. And this definitely is not free fall at all.
No. If it was free fall, you wouldn't have to climb.
Despite my incompetence, I come up with 2 successes.
Alright. So the two racks have no problem with this. They can just march up. Yvonta has racks climbing, right? That's a default.
Yes.
Okay. You guys can just march up this 45-degree tunnel, but the Towser of the party finds it a little bit more difficult. Well, would find it a little more difficult if there were anybody else, but this is Jewel. Jewel has no problem with this. Jewel just starts marching up.
This is just Tuesday for me.
Right. And a short while after the 45-degree angle begins, you begin to see around the bend what looks to be a wall at first, but you can also see that the ceiling seems to curve up at the same angle, or at the same angle that the wall does before the wall shows. This might be another time for a hand drawing.
It's big and curvy.
Oops, sorry, did that one too far. Hold on.
Though the fact that I have to compete with 2 wrecks makes Towser Magnetics seem more and more appealing every day.
Free hand. Something like that.
So the rounded passage like comes together and then just goes completely vertical.
Right. And the same 45-degree angle continues on down the other side. Except, the way you came, you were heading uphill. Now it's going downhill the other way.
Right, so this is the center point then. And my senses still say to go upwards.
Correct. Except for on the drawing here where they're kind of, the tube seems to be sloping inwards on itself. It in fact is doing the opposite. It's more of it more opens up. Kind of like that.
Right, okay. So it gets back to being a little easier for a moment.
Well, it widens out the further up you look at it, but it's still completely vertical tube.
Okay. Do I need to continue making a climbing check, or do we just sort of continue proceeding upward, going, why are we doing this?
What ability do you have to climb completely vertical surfaces that are, what did I say before, 200 meters away from you?
The answer to that is complete laughter, because, who do you think I am? Definitely nobody can do that.
Because remember, these tubes are completely rounded, so you'd have to, I don't know, have some sort of ability to climb walls to even reach the point where you could reach the 200 meter above you surface to even try to climb up.
Right. Unless we have some kind of rope here. This seems to be about as far as I'm going to be able to go.
Unless your leitmotif can fly.
Haha, not yet.
Let's carry him, perhaps.
You are big. I assume that also means that you're pretty strong. Actually,
Yeah.
Inval is also huge, aren't you?
She just has strength.
Okay.
And Vala,
Yeah,
they're
you're
calling you
two.
fat. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Um,
I just gave birth a week ago.
I'm not fat. My thorax and abdomen are just the same part of my body.
well, it made you look very, very large.
Well, actually, large is an insult because I am from the warrior caste. So thank you.
Amazonian.
Still, I mean, you guys are both strong. The plan to carry me up actually probably could work. Probably about as well as you guys just dragging me along the floor. Ultimately, that requires you guys to, like, give in to the plan and do it.
Sure, I got nothing there to do.
I would say, Jewel can say these things as much as he wants, but unless somebody does something, Jewel is shouting at the vacuum. The vacuum.
I do it quite a lot, honestly.
Well, sometimes the vacuum shouts back, so that's the weird part. Alright, well, are you both gonna carry Jewel, or what's gonna happen here?
Well, I'm already carrying the burden, but I guess I could carry Jewel. You up for it?
Sure.
I'm ready.
I do like that. I'm already carrying a burden. I guess I can carry Jewel. You up for that? The first person to respond, Rafferty. Sure.
Yeah.
Rafferty's not carrying Jewel.
Alright.
Just gentlemen,
Alright, I guess give me a roll of body and endurance.
Well, sorry, I kind of misunderstood. You want me to carry Jewel?
Jewel was saying, I think I need both of you to carry me. And
Yeah.
then nobody responded for a while, and then the only person to respond is Yvonne, who says, I'm already carrying a burden. I guess I can carry you. And then you immediately agreed, Yvonne carries Jewel.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, no, I
then
can... sorry, I thought we were both doing this. And anyway, why do we have to carry you again?
Because it's going nearly completely vertically upwards.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I'm totally, I'll carry you, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Alright, well then you give me a roll of body and endurance.
Okay.
And I guess any gifts that you have that apply to this.
Huh, I actually don't have endurance. I thought I did.
you do have
Oh, well.
strength, though.
I do have strength, because I am here.
Which applies.
2
I am
successes.
huger.
Alright, that's enough to have Jewel over your shoulders and clinging for dear life. I guess Firestorm is going to have to go back to the other realm.
Yeah, he probably just poops for a little bit, that's all.
I thought Leaping Thieves could fly by default.
No. That's a
Nope,
gift.
gotta have a talent.
What's that gift called?
I think it's called Flying Leitmotif or something like that. Hovering?
Yeah, I think
don't
it's very
remember.
literal.
It's in the name, though. That's why Emmerich character in the other campaign could ride. Well, he could ride it because he had the riding one, but his could also fly because he had the flying gift.
Something I should look into as well.
Alright, hold on one sec. I need another bit of reference. Okay. Alright, as you ascend into this opening vertical shaft above you, as shown here, it joins up into a tube that's about as wide as the one that you had been marching through so far, except that you can see ahead of you this it's larger than human size. I want to say 2 meter long. I don't know how to describe this. It looks like the end of a flathead screwdriver, except it's got a slit running across the very tip of it. So instead of being solid, it seems to have a hole inside of it. Running along the the very center. It's like descending down to the very center of the tube. This 200-meter across tube. It sits right in the center. It's coming from somewhere so far above you that you can't see, even if you shine your flashlight above, because the darkness is just so deep and long, and your flashlight only shines so far. There is what looks like, and I'm describing this using the best words available to me, so if you have questions, just go ahead and shoot them out. What looks like a half-cocked piston on either side of this thing, like it's coming down between them. I'll try to do my best here. Line. That. There's the screwdriver thing. Sorry, my thing is doing some weird thing where I can only see what I've drawn after I've drawn it, so I apologize for bad drawing.
Yeah, it was doing that to me last night as well, I noticed.
So, looking up, this is what you immediately see. This weird flathead screwdriver projection coming down between these two half-cocked piston-looking things. They're very thick, the piston things. Like a good 25 meters at their thinnest, and then 50 meters at the thick part. And as your flashlight illuminates the darkness behind them, you see what appear to be tubes, like just masses of tubes that are themselves maybe 10 to 15 meters thick, doing entire rings around the tube above you. Think like macaroni pasta, just in full circle.
Is this some sort of like air pump for the pneumatic tubes? The pneumatic elevators?
I mean, you do have an engineer in your group.
That we do. What does the engineer think about this monstrosity?
It's pretty weird.
Heard it here first.
Well, I'm glad that cleared everything up.
That's my official opinion, and I will say no more.
But might there be in academics or craft roles to recognize this weird bit of machinery?
I mean, there could be. I'm not ruling it off the table.
Vala,
What?
you gotta know what the thing is.
I'm totally lost why you guys are even here. I came to deliver the black toast.
Well, the toast is telling me to go this way. And there's this thing. So I'm trying to deliver your toast to breakfast. So what do we do about that? I say just like pointing up at the machine.
Well, it's gotta be another way around.
Well, again, I guess this is where your labor or engineering knowledge would come into play and ask, what is this thing, and how might we actually get around it?
Isn't Jewel up here with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Isn't Yvonne's up here with us?
Yes.
There's got to be like, I'm looking for side access panels or maintenance panels. The fact that this whole place is built by robots means it might not actually have any.
There do not appear to be any. I'm not going to have your roll because there don't appear to be any, and there aren't any. No, not going to make you roll useless rolls.
That is appreciated.
I still don't see why we can't just like drop the black toast and just get back on our ships and leave.
That might be a good idea.
This place is filled with weird robots. I don't know why we're here. No one's coming to talk out or receive our packages. Something actually wanted to kill us, and this place is dangerous.
To be fair, you guys knew this place was dangerous. Jula's been specifically told, 20 times now, that your mother told you never to come here.
Yup. I'm seeing why every moment. But at the same time, my direction sense is telling me to just keep going straight upwards into this thing. Right?
Right?
Or
And
do
no,
we
like,
follow?
alternate, like, go this way towards this panel or anything.
Or do we
Right.
follow your nose magnet, or do we follow our common sense?
Well, again, I mean, it comes down to what is this thing, and nobody has an answer.
Your engineer says it's weird. That's been your answer. I mean, she seems unwilling to investigate further.
Well, I could roll academics and try to figure it out, I guess. Or craft if it's more along those lines.
It seems more like a craft roll.
Yeah,
All right.
that we can do. And we might actually be able to get through the wall with the tools that we've got. Well, let me assist you.
Do I get a D12?
Well, he's still rolling.
Not if I'm
Apparently
rolling
not.
like that.
I think we've hit the heart of the matter. Raph didn't want to roll because he only wants to assist.
Yeah, and I rolled like terrible anyway. Wow.
Yeah, but we figured this was your bailiwick. That's why they've been waiting for you to determine what it is, but you haven't been doing it. 2 successes. Alright. That's not enough for good detail, but I will give you... It looks like some sort of massive... I guess, as seen from the inside, some sort of massive heat exchanger.
Yeesh. Which you'd have to have if you had like a vacuum. I wonder where it's pumping the heat.
Alright, so I said with 2 successes, you can get a generalization. This looks like a cross section. If you were from the inside, maybe a heat exchanger. No details though, and something like this massive, like why would you need a 200-meter wide heat exchanger?
Well, because we're in a massive hive of robots in a vacuum, and all of them are producing heat all the time.
Yep.
Well, I'm just saying those would be the questions that would appear to Yavanta. I don't know if Yavanta's...
And as he will voice those. And now, unless we're in some kind of tube that lots of hot liquids or plasmas run down, in which case we might be in danger, she'll just
Well,
kind
the
of let that
robot
hang in
and
the
sparkly cloth managed to survive down here. And there's an access port to this directly into the hangar.
I'm sorry, what was that last thing you said?
There's an access port to this thing directly through the hangar. So it would make sense, like, if this thing is, like, producing a thing and then it dumps straight into a hangar bay.
Well, in that case, do we go back or do we go forward? You're the one with the nose magnet, Jewel.
Well, it says to try to go through this thing, apparently.
But can we go through it?
Yeah, no, the individual parts of it are so massive that there's plenty of space for the relatively smaller U's to fit through it.
And all it's doing right now is, you said it was slowly descending?
No, I didn't mention anything about anything descending.
Okay, so maybe I got that wrong then. So it just is there, and that's it.
Yes. Like most matter in the universe, it is there. And that's the most that it's doing.
So it looks like a massive heat exchanger, but it's not doing anything. Okay.
Well, I mean, from the outside, a heat exchanger doesn't appear to do anything either, so...
Well, I imagine our suits would at least give us a slight warning of, like, hey, temperature rising or something.
Oh, yeah, sure, no. It appears to be the same temperature as the ambient temperature of the vacuum around you. It doesn't, it does not appear to be operational at the moment, if that's what you're asking.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, it seems pretty safe.
Although... Sorry, no, I'm not. Although, give me a roll of mind and observation, anybody who's checking their sensors or whatever.
I got a 1.
Hey, a success.
I thought you were about to say crit. Alright, Yavanta, 2 successes. Your, the sensor suite of your suit. What kind of suit are you wearing again? Just a normal spacesuit?
Spacesuit.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm wearing the engineering suit.
You are picking up faint traces. I guess all of you. 1 success is enough. Faint traces of oxygen. Oxygen and nitrogen.
A breathable
Ooh.
atmosphere.
No. I said very faint traces. They're...
Traces of a breathable atmosphere.
Yeah.
That is slightly encouraging.
I mean, any amount of scientific knowledge, enough to put on a spacesuit and not die from, would tell you that this is not enough to, oh, I can take my helmet off now. Not enough.
Right, but maybe there's a bigger source somewhere if we follow the traces. So that seems encouraging. So, I guess all said, we should probably just keep going up past the heat exchanger and towards the oxygen. Right?
If you say so, sir.
Makes sense to me. Going towards, at least that's a goal. Is there a safe path through here?
I mean, it looks like if you climb through the center, it should be safe. Everything around the edges is filled with tubing and, well, just tubing, really.
Okay.
Right up the center is really the only spot where it seems like it would be easy to do. Although at this point, I think I would even need the racks to make a body and athletics checks, because the climbing becomes so much to the point where you can't just climb a solid surface. You're going to have to make micro jumps between tubes if you want to keep climbing upwards.
A giant wouldn't help in climbing like strength does, would it?
You
I
could
do have
probably just
athletics.
reach from one tube to another instead of jumping.
Yeah, I do have athletics.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I need you guys to make those because
Well, I'm rolling like ass, so that's fun.
you have a favorite use of athletics.
I do. It's climbing.
Go ahead and reroll a d8 then.
There we go. That's 2 successes.
Hey!
My favorite use is with emergencies, and falling would be an emergency. So can I re-roll that D1 or that result of 1?
Sure. Alright. So you guys managed to climb up tube after tube after tube of this heat exchanger. Or at least what appears to be one. And it takes you a rather significant portion of time, because this thing seems at least, hold on a second. Sorry, if you can see me on camera, I'm doing weird things, but this is for a reason. At least 400 meters tall.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, hopping from tube to tube takes a good amount of time. And at some points you do have to squeeze through because the tubing intersects with this long pipe that leads down to that aforementioned hanging bit that came off the bottom, the first thing that you saw, where it seems to squeeze up against the tubes coming from the walls. But after a while, you do make your way there, and I don't need an engineer for this part because the next thing you see is a 400-meter wide turbine directly above you.
Wow.
At this point, I gotta really question these robot orders I have here.
How are you
If they're
questioning
a-
him?
Is it saying to go straight through the turbine next?
I mean, it's indicating to you. I'm using the word indicating wrong. It is the feeling that you have. Again, these are not orders. You are interpreting a sensation, and the sensation
Right.
that you're feeling is up in that direction.
Hmm. You know, stop me if I'm being an idiot here, but maybe part of this is a foolhardy endeavor.
How thick walled is this tunnel of tube that we're in? Would our survey bonus be able to tell us this?
Why is there a fan in almost null atmosphere?
I want to say that some of you are asking some very good questions, and some of you are being completely asinine. I'll let you guys figure out which one of those are which. How would your sensors tell you that, Arcloid?
Sonar or
Sonar would bounce off the
radar?
walls. Also, I don't know that sonar works
That's
in a
right.
vacuum.
It wouldn't. You're
It does
right.
need a medium. I mean, I guess the medium of like a solid material would maybe improve, but
Yeah, kind of like how they were using that thumper to see the dinosaur skeletons underground. You would put the sensors up against the tubing.
Well,
Ping
I
it
thought that
somehow.
they like hard injected something into the ground, which then sent a signal back up. They didn't just like
No,
pound on the ground.
they did actually. They just kind of fired a shotgun slug into the ground. A slug, not pellets,
So, are you
and that
suggesting now that you're
created
gonna
a
shoot the wall?
vibration. I don't have anything to shoot it with,
You're
but
gonna.
like
I mean, that's the only way
there
I
could be
can.
some way to. And never mind. I don't think I have the right idea. So
I'm just trying to follow along with you because your example there is they fired a thing into the ground at high velocity and then measured the distance back.
well, they measured the vibrations, kind of like a seismic sensor on the moon would do.
Right, you've got a seismic sensor. You've detected that there's movement well above you. Well, actually, at this point, I think it's fair to say that your seismic sensor is probably being activated by the turbine ahead of you because while the turbine is not moving at like full velocity, it is slowly dwindling around, and this thing is 400 meters long, so that's quite the amount of vibration.
Yeah, that's a lot of noise. That
Well,
even if I could think of the right kind of sensors, it probably would confuse it. But I think somebody had mentioned a laser torch. We might try to circumnavigate around the turbine by going through the wall.
It depends on how thick the wall is.
That's why I asked.
well, I guess more to the point, we've been kind of circling around the main chamber, and as I understand it, there are different levels around it that the robots use. We could always break in, go up, and then break back out.
Very well. I don't think I have sabotage yet.
I just have a bunch of craft.
I'm
Same
gonna wait
here.
half a second for my dog to stop howling, but
I mean, I'm actually I have craft. Does anybody else have craft?
Yes.
Yeah.
What
Why
are
don't
you-
I? Why don't I assist you to cut through the walls? I have my own laser torch.
All right. I don't have any laser torch to do it with though, but
You don't have your own laser torch?
No.
Oh, well,
I
just
think
just
they're
take
expensive.
Jules. Jules isn't using his.
All right.
That's right. And the thing I want to say is I do have the universe's most effective warp digger.
What?
What'd you call me?
Firestorm.
Wait,
I
I
can
think
do
so.
warp damage and break through metal. It's been my thing for about the past couple days.
oh, wow. What sort of conductor power do you have?
Literally just having the lead motif.
So, in
It
other
does
words, have
warp
your
damage.
leitmotif. Well, the only thing I'm worried about is having your leitmotif blow a hole through the wall is not a controlled break. It is an uncontrolled break, and that's what I'd be worried about.
All right. So, are you assisting me?
Apparently not.
Damn.
Like, WTF?
Could always put some personality into that one.
Yeah, my freaking personality is determined, but I'm saving my personality for when we really need it. So
So I
no,
guess, should I go ahead and throw my destructive warp leaf motif into this, or just let you blowtorch it?
Well, I've got 2 successes.
yeah, he's
That
got 2
may not be
successes
enough.
without me, or she's got 2 successes without me, so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I guess from the perspective of Jewel, you're standing there, and I guess where is Jewel when this is happening? Because you're perched on somebody's
I guess I'm probably
shoulders.
just like straddling one of these like giant tubes, just sitting there waiting.
Yeah, I was gonna say because one of these gals was
One of
carrying
them's
you.
got to be at least slightly horizontal.
Well, I mean everything is horizontal at some perspective. But yeah, you watch these two set to work on laser torching, I guess, their way through the wall. And I guess after, I don't know how long it takes for you guys to figure this out, but you set to work trying to laser torch your way through it, and after a couple of minutes, you pull the laser torch back, and it looks like maybe scorch marks at most. There seems to be no damage done to the wall.
Well, that's my idea.
Yeah, I don't think we can actually get through these walls. Well, the next thing to do is to try and blow a hole through it with Zen harmonic energy.
I guess it would make sense that the giant heat conduction chamber is a little heat immune.
Yeah, and I don't think we don't have any better tools for this. I only have the laser torch. I don't have a power cutter. Curse my high-tech upbringing.
Curse it.
Well, we should probably back. The other thing I'm worried about is there's trace atmosphere. How thick do I think the wall is?
I mean, what ability do you have to detect that? Just the same question I asked Arcloid earlier.
A stud finder.
It's a stud finder doesn't detect how thick a wall is, it detects where a
Yes,
stud is. Which
Right.
is the thickest part of a wall, so you just
Right.
you would find the thickest part of the wall.
Right. Well, I mean, but also it would by using different sound impacts and measuring the tone that it gives off, you can ballpark it. I mean, I'm not saying I can mark it down to millimeters, but first of all, we tried to cut through it, and it's a heat-resistant tile, right?
Right.
So we didn't actually penetrate it, right?
Right. Like I said, scorch marks at best.
Okay. The best I can do is like put the stud finder against the wall and make a ping, and it might tell me if the wall is only micrometers thick, or it might tell me that it's like thicker than a few centimeters.
I guess my difficulty here is I'm thinking of a home repair stud finder, which tells you nothing. What is the stud finder that you're talking about?
I have an industrial grade. I have industrial grade equipment that you can use to impact on certain materials that, based on the sound response that it gives you, would give you a ballpark idea of how thick it is. Mostly, I just want to know, like, if this wall is only a couple centimeters thick and there's a hollow space beyond it, I would get a different noise from my ultrasound than I would get from if the wall was like thicker than that.
Well, here, I have a counter question back to you, just so I can give you an informed response. What happens when you put something like that to the ground?
Well, if the ground is solid, you'd probably hear a thump, and if you were a seismologist, you could tell the density of the dirt. I mean, that's how they detect for oil. They make weird sounds and then measure how they rebound back.
Right. Okay.
Mostly, what I would definitely have detection is if the wall's only a couple centimeters thick and has a hollow space beyond it, and we're detecting a trace atmosphere, that might imply that we're in a near vacuum, and what's on the other side is a pressurized space. So when I'm a
And we
little
can doom
worried about,
everyone on the other side. Awesome.
well, there are several reasons not to poke a hole in that.
Right.
One major reason would be that suddenly the air would be escaping at about, at 1 bar, so 22 joules per centimeter. So we're not gonna be able to push our way through that. We would have to wait until whatever space on its side equalized pressure on our side. This has the other problem that not only are we in a very large space, but as near as I can tell, our large space keeps continuing up to an open shaft into open space, which implies, we're not in
Actually,
an air-sealed environment, which implies that if we did break this, it would leak air forever.
so for that, we do have the information of what we can see from the outside, which is a whole bunch of shafts that open up and allow us to like fly down in. They're like very long, very wide, and that's how we got down here in the first place. That we flew our ship down. This side turbine path doesn't feel like it connects to the surface.
No, and we should pretty much go back the way we came. Okay,
Because Theta, we definitely didn't see this side turbine like on the surface at all, right?
we should go back to the room that we started in, because when we landed and the automated systems greeted us, they greeted us in that vestibule. I have to wonder that if we had had the correct protocols and something like that, they would have taken us out of that vestibule and into more inhabitable areas. We are now wandering around in uninhabitable areas, poking holes in things until we break something.
When I was here about a day ago, they gave me the runaround for quite some time and were happy to let me just die without air.
Doesn't mention when they strapped you to a table. Interesting.
Oh yeah, well that was after I broke their rules and tried to break into other places.
Wait, so you've been here before and they've been torturing you?
Well, I did try to break in and break all their rules. And I
Why
don't
did you do
understand
that?
what they want at all.
Why did you come to the ass end of the universe just to meet robots who hate you?
Because I was out of air and the oxygen supply on my ship wasn't going to fix itself.
Well, there's oxygen here somewhere. I'm going to suggest that if we're going to poke through holes in walls, we should go back to the vestibule and out of the sun-resistant heat tiles.
Oh. The only thing I'm thinking right now is, if we do go back down, then we have to deal with all the robots. And again, they don't like us. In fact, they probably don't like anyone on your ship, Yavanta.
I do love the mental imagery of Jewel sitting on a tube, gesticulating at these two racks that are perched up on a wall, staring back, having this whole conversation.
And shall we get back to the ship?
Well, climbing up wouldn't be much difficulty except for the turbine. We would have to find some way to turn the turbine off if we want to see what's up there. Which
It is moving
possibly
slowly.
could be a airlock into atmosphere.
It is moving slowly. Is it moving slowly enough to like go through it? Or is there like some sort of grate that would be in our way?
In the fine tradition of movie turbines, it is moving slow enough that you could attempt to go through it, although you can be certain that a failed attempt to move through this 400-meter wide turbine would kill you.
Okay, so it's going dangerous movie factory speeds, where if you don't go through it, it's going to cut you in half. It's not going like sedate, I'm a big slow turbine and doing like one rotation every minute.
No, it's going slow. I'm just saying if you really screw it up. It's going slow, but it's 400 meters wide, which means that the slow is an inexorably unstoppable force. Your body will
Right.
do nothing but crush underneath its weight.
Right, but there are surfaces that are exposed that never connect to anything. It could be possible for the racks to hop onto it without any danger at all.
It's a wide,
think-
wonderful
yeah.
universe.
Going back the way we came might just be the smartest idea.
I think as we've clarified, I'm not very smart.
Yeah, so let's go back to the vestibule.
Very
It's a
well.
long way back down.
Yeah, we'll just go. Down's a lot easier than up.
All
We've
right.
come all this way up. We still gotta keep going up.
I need
For the
you.
toast.
For the toast. You say toast. I forgot for a moment that you meant the black toast thing, and I thought for like party. I gotta give the toast. I need you, Jewel, to make a roll of mind, will, questioning, and a d12. A bonus d12.
Alright, so let's
Okay.
do those in order.
Wait, I heard
Mind.
the bonus D12. What else am I rolling?
No, not you, Jewel. Just Jewel.
Okay.
Alright. So again, start me off. So mind and then followed by what?
Will, question. Here, I'm just gonna type it. Hold on.
Yeah, probably for the best. Mind, will, questioning, nothing, and a d12 is plus 1d12. Fortunately, my lead motif only gives other people a better chance to question me. That is a singular success.
Okay. So, what happens here? Say that thing you were just saying a second ago, Jewel.
We've come all this way, and I gotta keep going up, right?
You feel this intense aggravation in your head, like things just aren't adding up. You know that you feel extremely agitated, and there's this slight sound of static behind your ears. It's very annoying. It's driving you crazy, but all you can think of is that thing you just said. We just got here, and you feel that pull. Jewel, gain the frenzy condition.
Oh boy. What does frenzy do again?
You have to attack every turn.
Okay, cool.
So he's enraged.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm using the gift name. Yeah. Hold on. I had a note. God damn it.
Yeah, I was about to think, like, attacking is gonna be really awkward if they're all the way over there on a wall and I'm on, like, a random tube.
Like a petulant child just beating the shit out of him. No, I want to go now! Yeah, you have the enraged status.
Alright, and rage is, of course, attack every round. Maybe I just go ahead and start attacking the tubing. Stupid tubes
No.
causing all my problems.
We just got here. No.
Nothing makes sense, especially not these useless things.
What is this? The internet?
Series of tubes. They're all clogged. So yeah, I imagine the easiest thing is just to start biting and clawing at them.
I would suggest not biting the tube, so that resolves taking your helmet off. It's up to you, though.
That moment of clarity. Jewel just like starts like reaching forward out towards it, and then his helmet just clunks against it. I actually have very few options to attack things other than to pull out a gun. I don't think.
I mean, you control your lead motif.
Yeah, that's true.
Although, technically, I think it has to be the attack action, so never mind.
Yeah, leitmotifs
Yeah.
use a control action.
That is correct. So it could be out here just staring at me and like shaking its head. Or just howling sympathetically, but that'd be about it. So yeah, I mean, I gave away my laser torch actually, and the ray pistol. So at best, like I could pull out, say, like the holdout pistol, and just like start unloading into like random tubes out here. Probably not to much effect.
But it
Are
is
they just
something you're
bullet
doing.
resistant?
Yeah, I mean, if you start shooting off a gun in here, it's just gonna impact stuff and not have very much effect.
Yeah. So I dwindled the ammo of that for however long Enraged lasts here. I imagine someone probably has to actually calm me down, though.
I'm gonna say it's gonna last forever, I guess, until you run out of air because no one seems to care. You're
Well,
just
what
going crazy.
it's a negotiation stunt to get rid of Enraged. And what would be the traits you roll with that? Because I don't have negotiation roll. I could just try the one die. Would that be mind or will to try to talk him down?
I can try to talk him down. Great. I can't believe you stupid. I can't believe somebody talking to somebody that just went berserk.
Nothing makes sense, though.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if we wait long enough, we can make sense. Here, let me try to calm you down.
It's all the pipe's fault.
Well, I'm not rolling today.
Okay, is it mind or will? I'll try it.
Mind.
I think it's okay.
Yeah.
And then Jewel resists with mind, will, and negotiation.
He gets resist a 3.
Well, I got 2 of those. Yeah, just making sure. So, mind and will, D68. Ha ha ha.
Well, last time I tried to use an incapacitating spray on somebody, I fucking killed them, so I don't want to try to knock them out.
So yeah, of all things, Jewel is kind of useless here. I guess he probably ends up spending out his holdout load reloads at this point. Right?
Actually, I think I will try the incapacitating spray just to knock them out. But would I be able
How?
to help him?
How, Yavanta?
Oh yeah, you're right. Because he's got it. It's.
I take off his helmet so I can spray him in the face. Well, Jewel.
Airtight is convenient like that.
With his visor covered up so he can't see through the mist. Never.
So you get within attacking range. That's what I'm hearing.
He would have to counter too, so no.
Yeah, right now I'm just uselessly flailing about. I'm probably more in danger of accidentally falling off than anything here. Holdout pistol is just clicking and now I'm just bashing it against things.
And we already know it's a 400-meter drop, so...
Oh yeah, that's death. So yeah, there's the scene, I guess. 2 people who want to go back down and one that's going crazy.
Yep.
The total silence from those 2.
Well, the only other thing I've got to do is to trick, and that doesn't do much except make it confused.
I mean, don't you have, like, the drugs that you inject into people?
Yes, I guess I could do that. So you want to get addicted? Here we go.
I mean, I'm just saying that's the meta thing. You have the power.
Ignore the hospital outfit and roll the 1 anyway. So let's get rid of Enraged.
Alright, cool. So you hop on over and then just stab me with a needle.
Yep.
Alright. Theta?
What's up?
That work?
I mean, I guess I have questions about a needle puncturing a spacesuit, but...
Well,
I mean, we didn't
think
ask
we-
questions before either.
I think we implied that the suits have ports before because I was able to. I forget what the guys that Kamon's legacy would be, but I gave him drugs too. I think he was Boots.
Sure. Okay, I'm fine with that.
So you might end up addicted to what would it be?
Chill
Quad
bell.
wounds. Remove and rage is
Oh,
quad
yeah.
wounds.
Nice.
And at the end of the scene, you have to roll and see if you're addicted.
Okay, doke. Okay. So you stab me, I calm down a little bit. Go, stupid pipes.
So when you're done, it's body and will.
Okay. I'll go ahead and roll that now. How about?
All right. If you score 2 successes, nothing happens. 1 success, you become fatigued. No successes, you're fatigued. And
No successes.
you're addicted.
All right. And you
And
said
remember,
at the end
only
of the
the
scene I'm
first
going
one
to be
is free.
fatigued?
And addicted.
Okay.
And remember, only the first one is free.
All right.
Thank you for remembering. I had the ability to do that. It
I'm
completely
glad I
slipped my
remembered
mind.
your ability. Jules gonna calm down, look at the other two, and just kind of go, so, what now?
I say we go back the way we came and try to find another way up here if you're so adamant about getting up there.
Well, we should at least go ahead and mark the various heights of these things, so we know where we want to break back into, if at all. Or at least where we're going. And Jewel will follow someone's lead, but that means someone has to lead.
Well, I got the riot shield, so it makes sense for me to go first.
Right?
Plus, I'm just bigger than all of you, so I provide cover. So let's head back down the tubes.
Alright,
Okay.
so you're going back down?
Seems to be
Yes.
the course of action.
Okay. As you descend the 400 meters back down, you get to about 300 meters in your journey when you notice that divot that forms the passage the way you came up. On that side, there seems to be a number of those not identical to the skeletons that you had seen before. Hold on.
They are full-bodied, is what you're saying.
Yes, they work out.
Oh, he looks happy. He looks extra happy. Yep, and that's Cyborg.
Pretty much.
Hey! So, lots of various states of, robotic implementation here.
Pretty
Right.
creepy place.
And they seem to be gathered along the side of the divot that you guys had come up from.
You know, I have the sneaking suspicion we might not be able to get back to the ship like this.
It just does look like a pretty serious conundrum here.
So what do you think, Imbala? Do you want to try fighting through all of that?
How many of these guys are there?
I think at least 4.
I don't think we.
6. But
I don't
again, I saying, hold on, maybe you're not understanding me here. I said they're all on like that side of the divot.
Yeah, I don't think we can fight them. The last ones were basically immune to laser fire.
And we could take the other divot back down. But that just circles around. If they're still out there, say, in the hangar, then we'd have a lot to go through.
Wow, there's a lot of these pictures. Okay. There we go. Sorry, the pictures are blocking my view of the map. So where are the bad guys at the X or where at the X?
They're
That
at the
guy's-
X. You guys are still up, like up here.
Okay.
This is like a cross-section view, not like a top-down map view.
crap, and they're like weird cyborgs. They're just going to hang around all day, aren't they?
I don't imagine they have much else to do.
How tall is the ceiling?
You are about 100 meters up from the ground right now.
And this is the way to the hangar?
The X, where they're at, is the way that you came.
Okay. And how tall is the ceiling there?
These tubes are 200 meters tall. This is the same tube that you came from before, when you asked that before.
Well, if they don't have any ranged weapons, we should be able to go along the ceiling and get past them.
Still have to carry Jewel.
That's fine.
Yep, I'm a horse. This is what I do now.
That sounds like a plan.
Now they just calm the hell down.
So is that your plan?
Do you guys disagree?
Sounds like a good idea.
It sounds a little dangerous, and we don't know what we're getting ourselves into on the other side of them.
You guys came to this freaking planetoid.
I've been trying to get off of this planetoid for some time.
Good talk.
Yep,
Yeah,
good
so
talk.
climb along the ceiling.
Okay, well, I'm assuming that you're just going to do that then. You guys do not come together well on plans. I'm throwing that out there. One of you says something, and then we all sit in silence for 5 minutes while I wait to figure out if you've come up with a plan or if one of you just said something.
Yeah, sorry.
Alright, well, I'm assuming that you're then descending the 100 meters to crawl along the ceiling.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is these guys are going to stare, and this might just be Jewel seeing this. They all seem to be staring at you, Jewel, and their bodies are just going to move along underneath you. They're going to follow you on the floor.
Right, so anywhere we drop down, we're gonna have to deal with them. So I guess that's the question. When are the racks gonna want to get back down on the floor?
I guess we could just stay up there and take pot shots at them until they finally do end up getting dead. Or at least disabled.
Jules just gonna yell at them, "Go away! Shoo!"
Well, this is going to be very surprising then, because the next thing you see them do is not that.
So what's the plan? Drop down and run then? Actually, how are we gonna open up that door again?
These are all very good questions.
Any plan, our engineer, Invala?
So we climb. The ceiling's 200 meters up, and when we get to the end, they're blocking the door.
No, they're just
The door-
following you so far. Y'all have just been climbing along the ceiling. These guys are following you, and Jewel is shouting stuff.
Are they trying to talk to us at all? Like radio?
No. They've never tried to talk to you.
Just this dang static.
What directs them if they're not in radio contact with somebody?
Another very good question.
But yeah, I was pointing out the door we came through was completely merged into the wall with no access panels that opened up for us without our control. How are we going to open that?
Well, I could spoof one of their signals again, like I had done previously.
Do you think it'll work? Well, we're 200 meters up and we have a chance to try. So, it sounds like by the time we retrace our steps on the ceiling, Yvonne is going to try doing the spoof.
The spoof being a dance craze?
We just explained it.
Getting the same IFF signals that the synth seemed to have been using that Ivantana had figured out in the last session to see if, no, giving the door one of those signals
To see if the door was radio activated, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Sure, give me a roll to mind and academics when you get there, and we'll see if that works.
All right. Favorite uses with computers. I don't think a portable radio counts as a computer, technically.
Yeah, I don't think by any definition of the word, it doesn't really compute.
All right, then. Well, I got 2 successes, unless this is some sort of a contested roll.
No, that's fine. I think the door mechanism, the arm will pull back, the seal around the door will open up, and the arm will lift up, exposing the doorway again. However, again, you are still on the ceiling, and these things are still beneath you.
Well, what's the plan?
Well, either we shoot them a lot until they stop moving, or we crawl down and run for it. Those are our options.
I don't think we can fight them. I think we have to get out of here.
Very well.
Alright, so I
The
guess
ground
it's your
running.
decision then to drop down and run?
Yes.
Alright, count of 3, I guess. So what happens then?
Alright. 3 of you drop down from the... Wait a second, you're not going to drop 200 meters from the ceiling?
Get a little bit closer to the ground first, I guess.
I
Climb around the sides a little bit.
I just thought about that for a second. Okay, y'all drop, and then you're dead. Wait, I need you to soak damage from the fall. Alright, yeah, you climb down the sides of the walls, you drop to the ground, as far a distance as you can get from these things, because they're following you every step of the way. And you make a break for it. We see your characters burst through the light that is emitting from the doorway, because you're going from a completely black environment to a, well, also dark environment, but not as dark because it is illuminated by some screens from the synth things. And I know it's only been 2 hours, but I think we're gonna call it there.